All right, hope you all had a great morning. It's Wednesday, we're halfway. Let's just go ahead and get started in a seat. So if you want to switch it up a little bit, we can do bottoms of the feet together. Okay, so just bring those feet together, knees can open up nice and wide, just sitting up nice and tall. So yeah, we won't start it with a full jet. So just sitting here, nice long spine, letting those knees open up wide. You bring those hands on the ankles, or maybe resting them just comfortably on the knees is fine too. Relaxing those shoulders down and back, sitting nice and tall. Just start to breathe in and out through the nose. And if this is not a super comfortable position, if your knees are way up high, okay, if you just want to go into the traditional cross-legged position, that is fine too. And now we'll start to lean it forward, keeping that flat back. Now again, you may not go very far, that's okay. Just feeling a little bit more stretch to those inner thighs. You can give a little pull on those ankles to pull yourself a little bit closer to those feet. Now we'll rise back up. Let's go ahead and twist it over to that right side to start. So bring that left knee across that, bring the left hand across that right knee. Right hand goes to the base of the tailbone. Sit up nice and tall, and then twist looking over that shoulder. And then we'll twist to that left side. Again, find that length on the inhale. Exhale, a little more twist. And bring it back to center. You can grab onto those ankles, fold it forward a little bit more. And now come back up, knees together. Let's just slide those legs straight forward. Okay, sit up tall. You might have to bend your knees to do this. And then from here, walk those hands down. So noticing my back is still nice and flat. That's what we want. My back is flat, my hands are only on my shins. Okay, that's just fine. You might even be up here. You might be able to go all the way down, touching those toes with that flat spine. So just hold here, feel that stretch through the backs of the legs, pulling those toes back as much as you can, and think it's a gentle press through those heels. Kind of lights up those calves and hamstrings a little bit more. And then bring it back up. Hug that right knee into the chest. Right hand comes behind the back. Two options. You can either hug this knee in, sit tall, and then twist. Okay, or you can reach that arm up, hook that elbow across, and then twist that away. Good. Bring it back to center. And then we're just going to lower that knee down. So my left or my right foot is at my left inner thigh. Reach those arms up, twisting, and then fold. So this time that right hand is going to come across the ankle or the foot. Sit tall. So again, flatten out that back and then twist and fold. Big stretch through that left hamstring. Bring it back up and let's switch sides. So we'll extend that right leg out, left knee hugs in. We'll plant that left hand and then hug that knee or reach up and hook that knee across. Or hook that elbow across the knee is what I'm trying to say. You know, bring it back to center. Just go ahead and drop that foot or the knee down. Foot comes to that inner thigh. Reach it up tall and then start to fold. So that left hand will come across that shin. Sit tall and then fold a little deeper. bring it back up. Go ahead and roll it on over. So we're gonna come on to hands and knees, step it back to our plank. Just hold it here for a couple breaths. Adding onto this a little bit, if we need to lower onto the knees, you can, okay? But we're gonna bring that right knee to that right elbow, send it back out. Left knee to the left elbow, send it back out. So we're gonna go 10 of those, get warmed up a little bit. So we'll go 10, 9, not super fast, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Pause, and then send those hips up, that inverted V shape, that downward facing dog. So really pressing that tailbone up towards the ceiling, pressing the heels down, pressing that belly a little closer to those thighs. Really strong. Gripping those fingers into the mat, pulling those forearms towards each other. We'll come onto the toes. Bend those knees, stepping those feet to the top of the mat. Inhale, slide the hands up the shins. Find the flat back. And exhale, fold. Bend into those knees. Go and rise up to standing. Reach it up. Nice and tall. Let's bring those fingers behind the head, so interlacing them. So with the elbows out wide, we can bend it over to that right side. Inhale it back up. Exhale it over to that left side. Inhale, reach it back up. Now we'll draw those elbows towards each other here. So it's kind of squeezing them in, and then lift that head up, or lift the head back so the elbows are pointing up towards the ceiling. Keeping that core tight. And then release those arms up. And again, find that fold. Just hang here for a little bit. Shake the head, yes. Shake the head, no. Release any tension you might be holding on to. Good, again, bend into the knees. We'll go through that one more time. Reach up tall. Interlace those fingers. Elbows wide. Side bend it to the right. Inhale it back up. Side bend it to the left. Inhale, reach it up. Elbows will come together, or parallel at least, and then start to lift those elbows up. Press the head back. And then release those arms up as we find that forward fold. Find that half lift. Now from here, we can keep those fingertips on the ground. Just bend those knees a little bit more. We're gonna lift that left leg up, square those hips off, point the toes down. One more breath here. You'll start to feel that stretch through the hamstrings the more we level off those hips. And take a big step back into that lunge, okay? So we can start, as soon as I find my balance, we can start with our hands on our hips. It's with we can get our hands level, our fingers level, then our hips are probably level. Now core is tight, press those hips forward now. So don't let the hips shift one way or the other. Those hands should still be relatively level as we press those hips forward. Keeping that core tight, and then start to reach those arms up. One more breath. And then we'll straighten that front leg, lower the hands down to the shin or all the way down towards the mat. So we're in our half splits. The back is flat. Start to twist, reaching that right arm up. And lower that hand down. Let's go ahead and re-bend into that knee, stepping both feet to the top of the mat. Find that flat back, so slight bend in those knees. We'll lift that right leg up, square those hips off. Feeling that stretch through that left hamstring now. And then take that big step back, lower that back knee down. Go ahead and rise up. So again, you can bring those hands on your hips. Left hip comes down and back, right hip comes forward and up. Hips and hands are level, and then we'll start to press those hips forward. So thinking of that more neutral pelvic tilt. So I think rotating that tailbone down a little bit more, and then we can reach those arms up. So big stretch through that left hip flexor. Now then we'll lower those hands down. Nice flat back as we fold. That right hand will plant down, twisting Left arm is going to reach up. And then lower that hand down. Go ahead, rebend, step both feet to the top of the mat. Find the flat back. Exhale, fold. Now come back to standing, reach it up tall. It's a little variation of that side bend. We're gonna bend that left elbow. Right hand's gonna grab onto that elbow. You can start by pressing the head back. Same idea we did earlier. So we're pressing the head back, but we're still keeping that core tight. Okay, so we're not arching through the back. Staying tall, one more breath. And then let's find that side bend over to that right side. Good. We'll bring it back up, go and switch sides. So bend into that right elbow, press that head back, keep the core really tight. And then we'll side bend it over to that left side. Good. Bring it back up and then go ahead and fold it forward. And fingertips on the ground, finding that flat back. We're gonna lift that left leg up, square those hips off, point the toes down. Take that big step back, lower that knee down. Just go right into that lunge. So reaching the arms up, adjusting those hips, and then pressing things forward. You can think scooping that tailbone down. Big stretch that left hip flexor. And straighten that front leg as we fold. Adding in that twist, right arm reaches out. So the more we pull that right hip down and back, the more that stretch we're gonna feel kind of coming from our glute all the way down the outside of that leg. And then go ahead and lower it down. Rebend, step the feet forward. You can fingertips on the ground. Let's lift that right leg up. Square those hips off. Take that big step back. Lower the knees down. Inhale, reaching those arms. Ooh, up. Core stays tight. And now straighten that front leg. Pull the toes back. And then plant that right hand, twisting. The left arm is going to reach up. And lower that hand down. Rebend. And step that foot forward. Find that flat back. And fold. Inhale, we'll rise. Let's bend that left elbow. Head presses back into that forearm. And then we'll find a side bend over to the right side. Inhale, bring it back up. Switching sides. Bending over to the left side. Okay, bring it back up. Now stretch out the front of the shoulders this time. So interlace those fingers, open up that chest. Go ahead and release. Okay, so stay standing. Okay, we're gonna do a quad stretch. So weight's gonna be on that left foot. We're gonna bend into that right knee. Pull those knees together. Again, grab onto something if you need a little help with balance. Again, same idea. Pull that tailbone down. Pull that rib cage down. So we want a nice neutral lumbar spine. So gently press that foot back into the hand. And now relax a little bit. Try and pull that heel a little bit closer to that glute. And let's press that foot back a little bit more. And then release, pull that heel a little bit closer. One more time, press that foot back. So as we press the foot back, we really want to squeeze our right glute, right butt cheek. And then relax, hugging that heel in. Good, now release that foot. Let's go to the other side. So bending left knee, grab onto that foot. So adjust first. So rib cage down, tailbone down. Press that foot back. Press the foot into the hand. Relax, heel towards the glute. Press it back a little more. Heel comes towards the hip. Let's do it one more time. Press. And relax, heel towards the glute. And release that foot down. And bring those arms up tall. Exhale, fold. And now go ahead and plant those hands down. We're going to step it back to a plank. Let's add in a push-up here. So we'll lower those knees down if you need to. Lower shoulders to the height of those elbows. Press it back up. And then we'll control it down again, but this time you can lower all the way onto your stomach. Point the toes, roll the shoulders down and back. Let's see through that chest. So staying in that cobra. Soften it down. Let's go 2 more times. Roll and lift. And down. Then now if you want, stay in the same spot we were just at, or maybe you press it all the way up into that upward facing dog. Just think nice, long neck, shoulders are pulling away from the ears, hips are lifting up off of the mat. And then send those hips back into a child's pose. So those knees can be as wide or as close together as you would like. Reaching those arms forward, pressing into those palms to find that length through the arms. Find the lengthening through the spine. Sinking those hips back to the heels. And then come back onto those hands and knees. Step it back to plank. We're gonna do one more vinyasa, but adding in that push-up. So lower, shoulders high the elbows. Press it up, lower down. Inhale, lift that chest, cobra. Or up dog. And then exhale, send those hips up, downward facing dog. Now let's take that right knee towards that right wrist. Foot's gonna come across. We're coming into our pigeon. So slide that left leg back as far as you can. Lower onto those forearms. Now this is a pretty big stretch here. Just stay in this position. But if you want even more of a stretch, start to walk those forearms over to that right side. Chest is hovering over that knee. Now you don't want to lean off onto that hip. We still want the hips pulling back towards the midline of the mat. Just giving a little bit of the twist. And as we press that knee down, it's a little bit more stretch. Actually, for me, a lot of bit more stretch through that right outer hip. And again, you can just rest that head down. And then bring it back to center. So go back to down dog. And we'll switch sides. So that left knee, left wrist, foot comes across. Sliding that right leg back. And then when you're ready, go ahead and lower down onto those forearms. So again, staying here, or maybe walk those forearms over to that left side. So the weight of your torso is on that knee. Again, the hips are still pulling back towards the middle of the mat. So that pressure into the left shin to draw it back. And then walk it back to center. Send it back, downward facing dog. Slowly press those heels down, lift that tailbone up. And then let's walk those feet to the hands. You can find that flat back. Exhale, fold, just let the head hang heavy, grabbing opposite elbows, big stretch through those hamstrings, giving it a gentle sway from side to side. And now go ahead and come all the way up to standing. So we'll come into a chair. So reach those arms up, sink those hips down. Okay, sit really, really low. So low, maybe you come up onto those toes if those ankles a little bit tight. But we're gonna make our way all the way down into a seat. Again, bottom to the feet together. Sitting up nice and tall. Letting those knees open up a little bit wider. And again, draw those elbows in. Flatten out that back as we fold. Good, then bring it back up. Draw those legs together. All right, thank you all so much for joining me. Have a great rest of your day. We have all levels yoga tonight at 4:45. I hope to see you guys there. But yeah, have a good rest of your day.